Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Snack. We have got some live show match action coming at you. We'll be beginning here on MLG's Test Bug. Vinny and alt.Lonely going to be battling it out here. They're our first matchup for the evening. After that, we're going to go into some GM versus GM action. I've talked to a couple individuals. It looks like Clash Panther might be willing to do a show match for us and a couple others. So we've got some good people lined up for the evening. I'm actually fairly pumped to see how the evening's going to go. But these guys are going to go for a best of 3 here first, it appears. We'll check that out here in just a moment. Looks like it's going to be pink versus purple here. These guys love that. Always pink and purple, these two gentlemen. It's kind of fun. alt.Lonely will be our pink Zerg. He's going to be kicking it up here in the top left-hand corner. In the bottom left-hand, well, actually, it's kind of the bottom center. It is a 3-player map. It is Vinny, though, however. He is our purple Terran. Good 3-player map here, Test Bug. It gets utilized here and there pretty regularly, I'd say. I think this map is still definitely not outlived its usefulness. Quite an effective map. I think relatively balanced as well. One of my favorite parts about the map is that they do have these humongous destructible rocks and debris around these 3 towers in the center of the map. You can kind of see those. Actually, you can't hardly see them at all now. Once we're paused, that's no fun. So we've got a small little deal going on here. A little bit of pause, please. Go for it. And back to the game we go. Looks like alt.Lonely is going to send out his early drone scout here. And probably going to be going for hatch first, I would assume, on this map. We'll see how he's going to play it here. But probably a 15 hatch is what he's going to be going for. Back here at Vinny's base, we do have that barracks going down in great time. Looks like a standard opener, however, and no gas. So a gasless opener. Maybe going to see a Macarax type build here. We'll see how that's going to play out for him. Tends to be a nice thing to do on large maps where you can, you don't have the rush distance isn't too short. They can't really get too close to you too fast, and it gives you just a couple extra moments. Nope, he's not going for Macarax here, actually. He does have his refiner going down, so it looks like we're going to go for a Hellion opener. In the meantime, alt.Lonely does have the scouting award for the evening, and off he goes to the races. Looks like here comes your scout from Tox. And a tech lab going down here immediately for Vinny, so I'm actually not entirely sure what it is he is opening. Looks like maybe Reapers? Couldn't tell you, to be honest, at this point. This is definitely a little bit different timings than what we're used to for this level of play. But Tox here does have his spawning pool gone down. He does have his hatchery first. That's going to be complete here in just a few moments. And that is going to be a pretty nice little deal. Tox with just the 1 gas for now. He is going to continue mining here, it appears, for just a little while. At least get out his 100 gas for his Zergling speed. And back here at Vinny's base, guess what we've got coming out? It is going to be Reapers, 2 of them at this point. Good old Reapers. Looks like your first one is out on the field. There he goes. We'll follow this guy here for just a little while. He should be able to get a decent amount of damage done, just considering the early timing of this guy. Hopefully he'll be able to get in there. Let's see what Tox has got for defense. Nice thing about this map is you can pop up in the backside here. A lot of places for Reapers to really take advantage of this main base. But looks like he's going to head into the natural first. Tox going to take a couple losses here right off the bat. Looks like this Reaper will be wailing away at that spine crawler for the time being. Queen going to chase off the SCV here. Very, very wise move. That's what you want to do. You don't want this bunker to complete. Vinny is going to give it the old college try here. And it's not going to happen for the time being. But here comes Reaper number 2. In the meantime, this Reaper is getting chased off by some Zerglings. And here comes your Reaper number 2. Looks like these Zerglings will be able to clean this up in pretty good time. And that is it for the Reaper harass. Now, both of these Reapers do make it out of there with their lives. So nice control there from Vinny. But it didn't get tons of damage done. He got 1 kill on this guy, 0 kills on that guy, but he's going to poke back in here for yet another try. But I think at this point, Tox has got this held off in a big enough way where he should be okay. One Reaper does finally go down. This guy has picked up a kill. But killing Lings at this point is not what you want to be doing as a Reaper. You want to be killing drones where possible. And that is what we want to see. But looks like so far so good for Tox. He's gearing up to have a pretty nice little economy. However, ViNNY is ahead in the economy. He's got 23 SCVs. One Mule obviously going to give him a significant advantage there. And we do have that second orbital command up and running for ViNNY. So that is what you call a Reaper expand, apparently. Nicely done. And Tox backing up here. Looks like he's just going to kick it for the time being. Would like to see him continuing to drone here pretty heavily for just the next few moments. And you can see that he is doing that fairly well. Trying to keep up to par here on ViNNY is a nice little deal. Back over here at ViNNY's base, we do see engineering base going down. Looks like he is going to wall this off here. And a lot of Marines now out on the field for him, but he still is pumping Marines off of this tech lab while he's grabbing those upgrades. Here comes your next couple barracks. We do have 3 more complete at this point. So 4 racks for ViNNY. Looks like you probably transition into his tank play from here in just a few moments. Probably within the next minute and a half or so, we should see him start to toss down that new tech pattern. Back over here at this side of the map, ViNNY still has this Reaper cruising around. This guy is nearly dead. Very, very close to being dead, in fact. And he's just going to hide out under a bush here for the time being. We do see some more gas going up for Tox at both of his expansions at this point. Evo Chamber going down as well. He's going to block this off, choke it down there pretty good. Looks to be in pretty decent shape. Units tab shows that he is starting to pick up that economy there pretty well. 37 drones to the 35. But the units tab also lets you see that the fighting units here for ViNNY are really starting to pick up. Pretty solid play there from him. And he's probably going to be going for either an attack here fairly quickly or that new tech pattern. Looks like he hasn't put down any new tech quite yet, so I'd like to see either that or go for a push. He's pumping out a lot of Marines. Probably could grab a couple add-ons for these barracks, but I'm interested as to why he is not doing that. No gas here at his natural. He's just running off the 2 gas. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He is pulling all of his SCVs. SCVs are going to go in for the kill. Is Tox going to be prepared in time for this very, very large push? ViNNY moving out with just about everything he's got. He's leaving all of his mules at home. But here they come nonetheless. Looks like the Tween going to get chased down there fairly quickly. And Tox going to pull all of his drones here to try and make this defense happen. Looks like he will be in a little bit of trouble. And there's the GG from TvZ. Game number 1 going to ViNNY in very, very quick time. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt tab, always alt Starcraft. See you guys in game number 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got live tournament action, or show match action actually, continuing here. It is between TvZ and ViNNY. These guys, both members of Team Alt. If you did not know, phenomenal players, fairly highly ranked, master level players here. And Tox going to be pink here yet again on now Daybreak for map number 2. He did lose game number 1 to ViNNY, so the pressure going to start mounting here as he moves forward. Got to take down the wins. That is what you want to be doing in these show match little deals here. But looks like Tox going to be down here in the bottom left-hand corner. He is that pink Zerg. Up in the top right, it is ViNNY. He is the purple Terran. Looks like your scouting overlord for Tox headed in the correct direction here. Going to be cruising out across the field, and we've got another pause, apparently. Good stuff. Looks like ViNNY going for a standard wall off here. No more pauses, please. My goodness, they should have made me a ref. That way I could tell him to stop it. Tox now moving out here. I'm assuming he's going to go for another hatch first here, but we'll see if that's going to be the case in just a few moments. Wonder what ViNNY is going to open here. He does like his aggression, apparently, versus Zerg opponents there. That Reaper play actually turned out to be pretty good in that last game, and then followed up by a very, very large all-in. It was kind of interesting. But ViNNY now working on his barracks here. Looks like it's not going to be set up in the perfect position for putting down a early tech lab, but that is okay. can always lift it and move it over just a little bit. And your scout here from Tox will be moving forward. He is at 15 supply, and it appears that he's going to be going for an hatchery here. An hatchery. There goes his hatchery. Hatch first here from TvZ Bo3 yet again. Pretty nice map to do it on, I'll be honest. The rush distance here is so far when it comes down to it that you can kind of get away with that, I think, as a rule, as a Zerg player, especially versus Terran here. But we'll see how that's going to play out for him. Obviously, in that last game, it didn't quite work, so something went wrong, I think, with his timings there, just a little bit. Tox does get his spawning pool down in good time here, however, and that appears to be just fine. No early gas from ViNNY this time, and we do have that one barracks just working on Marines. So we'll see how that's going to go. And your probe transfer, kind of a probe transfer. He is going to come in here, going to deny. Ooh, he does pick up the kill there too on that little bunker going down. So ViNNY trying that bunker play there yet again. I think a great response here from Tox this time. Not too bad. He's given the easy. I like it. Easy, he says. Looks like ViNNY taking an expansion of his own at this point. He's just working off this one barracks for just a few moments. And ViNNY is saying, "Manner up, Isaac, or I will call your mother." Scary deal there. I assume that Tox is shaking in his boots here. These guys are funny this evening. Can't tell if these guys are being serious, but they tend to be such good friends that I doubt that this is like actual bad manner. I think this is more joking than anything. That's alright. Back over here at Tox's base, we do have plenty of mining going on. Use tab going to show that he is up to 18 our drones here fairly early. ViNNY at 17 for just the next few moments. He is going to have some mule advantage when he calls down those mules. Looks like he's about ready to do so. There goes a mule right there. And it looks like a couple more racks going down here from ViNNY. Could we expect another all-in? I guess it is a potential. But this command center will be finished here momentarily for ViNNY, and he's going to get back to mining here in a serious way. And the rack's not working on any new Marines. Maybe we'll go for some, maybe. Oh, there's one right there, I guess. That counts. And it looks like we're going to go for a small push. ViNNY cruising out across the field here. Looks like Tox does catch wind of this right away, backing his Zerglings out as quickly as possible. ViNNY does notice that he was scouted, so we'll see if he's going to go for the push or not. Tox tossing down a spine crawler here for static defense. He does have the one queen out on the field, but we are going to see, I would assume, a couple lings in production here in just a few moments. He's currently droning up, about ready to have a whole bunch more larvae. Should be, I would assume, a round of Zerglings here. And here comes your Marines, though. It looks like ViNNY's still going to go for an attack here. He's got 6 Marines in his little echelon here. They're going to cruise in here. Let's see if they're going to be able to get the damage done necessary. Here comes your Lings. Looks like these guys are definitely going through the back way. Queens should be able to take these guys out with not much trouble at this point. A couple of them went down there fairly quickly. Only 2 Marines left, and Tox didn't really have to stall mining there at all. ViNNY says that it was worth it. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure whether or not it was. Units tab going to show that Tox is significantly ahead right now in the supply count, or rather in the drone count, but actually in the supply count as well. So that's going to be a big little deal for him. Does have a bunch of Lings now cruising out across the field. I don't assume that an attack at this point is going to be super cost effective. Defensive Marine positioning here is probably going to be pretty good. And you got to remember that the Queens and that Spine Crawler actually are pretty nice defense against the Marines. So, I mean, these Zerglings probably won't be able to get tons done. We'll probably see him tech up here just a little bit. Notice that he is getting out his lair. And we're going to see some new tech, I would assume, fairly quickly. It could be straight for Mutas here, but I don't know, man. Considering that ViNNY has got a whole bunch of Marines out on the field, it may not be the absolute best choice. It just comes down to control, I guess, if you are going to go that way. But ViNNY now with a bunch of tanks coming out on the field. He does have his siege tech working at this point, as well as going to grab some medevacs. No dropping quite yet from him, but he appears to be in just fine shape. Absolutely good stuff. Double Evo chambers going down for Tox. We're going to see some serious upgrades. And, oh, there's your new tech. It is an infestation pit as well as banelings. Woohoo. I think this is a great counter here to ViNNY's mass marine play here. Looks like ViNNY is going to go for a bit of a drop. He's got one medevac chuck full of 8 marines headed out across the field. In the meantime, Tox has completed his 3rd base. Appears to be in pretty good shape economically. Let's just check back in on that units tab. 47 drones, now 52 to the 40 SCVs of ViNNY. I like this play a lot better in game number 2 from Tox than what we saw in game number 1. Looks like he may have had just a little bit of trouble there. But here comes your drop from ViNNY. We'll see how this is going to go for him. It looks like Tox should scout this. He's got an Overlord in great position to do so. So as long as he notices this on the minimap, he should be okay defensively. Let's see if we can follow this guy for just a few moments. And Tox may not have seen it there. Here comes the drop. There come the Lings. Lings going to cruise back here. Should be able to take these guys out there fairly quickly. ViNNY held off there in pretty quick style by alt.Lonely. Going to go ahead and stave off that Overlord. Looks to be in good shape. Nice little wall off here from ViNNY. He has used some of his energy to call down extra supply there, which is kind of an interesting deal. I guess if you're supply blocked and you just have to change it immediately, that is a good way to use some of that energy. But I tell you, man, the best thing to do is use your energy for mules. Those suckers are way overpowered. Let it be known, so let it be written, so let it be done, if you will. Here comes a push from ViNNY. He does have 4 tanks in this army, 2 medevacs, and a good old bunch of marines. They're headed out across the field here. Some static defense actually going down here for Tox. An interesting little deal, but looks like he should be okay. He needs to get out maybe a couple more Lings. I assume that he did see that from this vantage point at the Zelnaga, so he should know that this is headed his way. If not, he's going to know here fairly quickly. Tox getting geared up for his defense. He does have that one infester here. Good fungals going down already. Going to start wasting some of that energy on these medevacs. Looks like this spine crawler going to be under siege here for just a moment, as well as the hatchery. Tox going to take just a couple moments to get his defenses geared up here. He's got 18 Lings in production. And here comes the attack. Good. Infested Terrans going down, soaking up a little bit of that damage there fairly quickly. Great fungal growths behind. Taking down almost all of these units, but there's still a good couple tanks remaining. That is going to mean Tox is going to need to go for round 2 here. He did lose all of his infestors. Not a good little deal. Does take out one of the tanks. 1 tank still remains, and some marines still on the field. He takes down the hatchery. Great snipe there from ViNNY. Tox is definitely behind at this point in the army count. Supply count in general, and he looks like he's going to go for a pause here. Initiate hacks, he says. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't hack. It's a strong push, I think, from ViNNY. And the thing that you have to do in this scenario is you've got to get a good scout out on your opponent's army even before they move out. It's really important that you know what you're dealing with, and so that even if they started to move out right now, that you would be comfortable in defending. Now, it does take extra scouting. You may need to sacrifice a couple Lings to do that. But I mean, there's things that can be done. You can try, obviously try and get some changelings into your opponent's base, things like that. But getting a good scout out is absolutely key versus Terran in these type of scenarios, especially early to mid game. You really need to know what you're dealing with and when you think they might be pushing out. And it looks like we're just kind of waiting here. We're in a holding pattern. And are we going to see another hatch go down? I assume we are. There we go. There's your hatch. Looks like it will go down here in just a few moments. Now, ViNNY did salvage quite a few of these units. We do have another hatchery supposedly going to go down here. Looks like ViNNY probably not going to allow that to happen. But a lot of Lings out on the field here for Tox. Looks like he is going to cruise up here and go for the kill on these units. And is he going to cruise up here? Yes, he is. He's bringing all of his Lings. He's going to take these guys out. They're definitely surrounded here. taking down the Marines in pretty nice little style. Nobody in those medevacs. 4 empty medevacs cruising around the field, and a third base has gone down for ViNNY. He's taken this kind of half expansion in the center of the map. Generally speaking, you take this one first, but that's alright. I mean, every little bit counts, I guess. And notice that Talk's going to be as pesky as possible, blocking his opponent from taking this expand. A nice little deal there. Talk's securing his 4th base, I think, in pretty good time. Does need to be careful and make sure and get a lot of damage done if he's going for an attack here. And I don't think that he is. He's just probably going to clear out these rocks, or destructible debris, I guess is what they're called in this particular instance, for the time being. But ViNNY gearing up in a pretty big way to hold on to this base. He is tossing down his planetary fortress. Got a lot of tanks sieged up here. And some Lings cruising out on the field here. Yeah, they're going for a run by of sorts. Headed up to this position. In the meantime, we've got a lot of infested Terran. Or infestors, I should say. Just kind of sitting. And your Lings do make it into the mineral line. They do pick up a good couple kills. Not a bad deal for TvZ at this juncture, man. Everything is going to count for him. He is at 62 drones to 51 SCVs, but ViNNY going to have a pretty strong economy considering how many mules he should be able to call down at this point. So backing out here for TvZ, I think a smart deal. Nice thing to keep all these infestors alive, but if he can keep this particular base out of commission for as long as possible, it's really going to play in his favor while he tries to get this 4th up and running. Now, is ViNNY going to be moving out here soon? That is the question, because TvZ has got to be prepared for that. He just has these infestors and Lings out on the field for now. Looks like he's going to be destroying as many rocks as possible. And I'm probably going to see him go for a couple banelings here in just a little while so that he'll be better prepared for those pushes. And with those fungals, man, I'll tell you, banelings and fungals, really, really good against those Marines. Lovely stuff. And it looks like ViNNY is going to go for a push here. I was about to say, you know what, he might go for a push. He's got a lot of tanks. 5 tanks now out on the field, or at least in this army. And a good bunch of Marines, as well as the medevac numbers are pretty strong at this point. So he's got a lot of heal. And it's going to come down to control here from TvZ as to whether or not he should be able to hold on. Should see, I would think, some decent amount of banelings here. I would like to see him put some in production right away. Doesn't look like he quite has enough for that, actually. And ViNNY going to be cruising up here to the 4th base, it appears. TvZ has got to catch wind of this. He really needs to get himself in position. And there he goes. He is going to get a flank here. Here comes your Lings. They are going to get a pretty decent surround on these units. Good fungals going down there as well. Should be able to clean this up in pretty decent style. There are a lot of Marines up here on the high ground, though. These guys do take out that hatchery of TvZ, and man, I'll tell you, that's a big loss for him at this point. He's got to stay on 4 mining base, I think, at this point, especially considering how low his main is. He's still doing some mining there, but not nearly enough. And TvZ now, I think, in big trouble. He's really going to have to make this happen defensively at this 3rd. He can't afford to lose another base here. Here comes your drop yet again. Pretty decent fungals going down, but the damage is just being done very, very well here. And good fungals, chain fungals will take those guys out. All of the units that were inside die along with those couple of medevacs. 4th base here for ViNNY, up and running in a very big way as well. And TvZ retaking his 4th base as quickly as he can. Got to do it. I mean, look how low his main is. I mean, he's not doing like heavy mining here, but he's really got to start to spread this out. He wants to try and keep this particular base mining as long as possible, and this one when it comes down to it as well, because these are his most defensible positions. So he wants to push his defense forward, and if he does have to sack a base, he should be able to fall back and hold on. But ViNNY with a whole bunch more tanks, 7 of them out on the field, good bunch of Marines, is going to be moving out across the field here right now again. Banelings, man, I'll tell you, burrowed banelings would be a great choice here. A lot of scans going down, revealing this position. Here comes all your Lings from TvZ. Good fungals going down there as well. But ViNNY cleaning it up in a very big way there. Good fungal here from TvZ. Going to stop these guys in their tracks. A couple of those Marines are going to die. could have tried to get a chain fungal off there, I think. But all these guys do get healed up there fairly quickly. Your medevacs are running a little bit low on energy, but not too bad. Tox with a whole bunch of lings now out on the field. Hopefully this will be enough for him to defend. Here comes some banelings as well, and this could be the answer here, I think. But he's got to get himself in position. He cannot afford to lose another base here. Where is he going to go with this? He does see this coming. He's going to go right up the center here. Try and get down a good fungal here. And pretty decent little surround. He's taken out quite a few units. One more fungal here is going to annihilate these guys. Doesn't need the fungal. Apparently he's going to save that fungal for a later time. And Tox evening the supply count here for the first time in a little while. Actually slightly ahead after he comes out of that one. In not bad shape. Probably going to see him hold on here for just a few moments, beef up his economy, and wait for Broodlords. Notice that he does have his Greater Spire about to be complete. I think this is a nice tech switch for him. Getting some Broodlords in position here is going to be a pretty nice little deal. Fungal's going to keep those Marines out of the way is the big thing. Out of the way of those Broodlords. But you got to keep them away from the Broodlords. If they stim forward right underneath the Broodlords, it's so cost effective for Marines to take out a Broodlord. Broodlords are so very expensive and so gas heavy that those cheap Marines, I'll tell you, with just the minerals as cost, yeah, it's super cost effective for them to stim forward and take out Broodlords, even if they're going to all die. Does not matter. And so what he can do is fungal as they're rushing in, keep them away from the Broodlords. He's got to keep Broodlords on the field. Now we do have a Ultralisk Cavern going down for Tox as well, but still nobody out on the field, no Broodlords out on the field, and I would like to see that go down here in just a few moments, but Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Another base going down here for ViNNY. Going to be securing another base here, or either that or putting up another planetary fortress. This base getting relatively low on minerals here. Probably going to see him go for another base. We've got one Ling cruising in here. And burrowed he goes, and he is going to regain some HP. Here comes some Lings, just cruising through, wanting to see what's going on. I like that Tox being active here, but ViNNY has picked up that supply lead yet again. He does have some Banelings burrowed all across the field now. I like that. Nice to have Banelings burrowed here and there. Really cost effective. Tox only going to toss down a hatchery here as well. It's his opponent's hatchery. He's really taking on his opponent's side of the map. It's kind of fun. We'll see if that's going to hold or not. But ViNNY now just about maxed out, is moving out across the field. He's got a bunch of tanks in here as well as a lot of ghosts. Ghosts going to be super effective against these infestors, and if the ultras do come out, which we do have one in production right now for Tox, going to be effective there as well. And wow, nicely done there from Tox. I think pretty good. He's still having some trouble with these ghosts. The ghosts going to pick up quite a few kills. Looks like that infestor is probably going to go down as well. Needed just one more fungal there on these Marines, and they would have died. So missed that opportunity, but that happens. And looks like ViNNY trying to go for the kill at the 4th base, while Tox coming in for the flank here. Pretty nice little style, actually. And some reinforcements showing up just barely in time, but it looks like ViNNY's so strong in this position that he's going to be able to take down this base. And this is probably going to end up costing alt.Lonely the game here. Notice he's got so many Vikings now out on the field. If we do see Broodlords, Broodlords are going to be absolutely useless. Do have the one Ultralisk, that's fairly helpful there. He ends up going down there pretty quick, and a good drone transfer at just the right time. Looks like Tox will be able to generate some income off of this pretty quickly. This is about to be complete here, but he needs to have the defenses. And notice the supply count here. ViNNY's so far ahead. Oh man, this hatchery obviously not going to last much longer. But nicely done. What can I say? And ViNNY trying to take his 5th base right now, while Tox does cruise into his opponent's mineral line. Is going to do a decent amount of damage here. Pretty good stuff, actually. Taking down quite a few units. He did burrow 4 more into that mineral line, and we'll see if ViNNY is going to get these guys, take them out here or not. Is he going to toss down a scan? No, he is not. So these will go unnoticed for the time being. Nice little deal there. See if Talk's going to pop these guys up here at just about any moment. We do have this one Zergling burrowed here. He is going to get annihilated here in just a second. There goes your scan. Those banelings there nicely placed. Oh, good stuff there from ViNNY. Talk's so far behind right now. I'll tell you, this is what's brutal. He just doesn't have the economy, or not the economy, but the the production capability to make this happen. Raven in the army, it does show these burrowed banelings, and that's not going to be nearly enough defense here for Tox. He is going to go ahead and sack this base apparently. Yeah, he's going to sack it, this is absolutely going to cost him the game. Absolutely going to cost him. Scan going down is going to reveal all of these burrowed drones. They are not going to last much longer here. Here comes your lings. Here comes everything that Tox has got, but notice the supply count dwindling so very quickly while ViNNY's staying just about where he was, which is about to be completely maxed out. Moving forward, taking out all of these drones except for one here. Wow. And we're going to go for a drop into the main. Smart play here. And there's the GG. Well played. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt-tab. Always on Starcraft. To see you guys in the next game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Snack. We've got that live show match action continuing. Game number 3 here between ViNNY and alt.Lonely. Apparently a best of 5. So it is match point right now for ViNNY, who is currently 2 games and 0. Got to be a nice position to be in. And that's good. It does force cross position spawns. Yep, it's cross only. Cross only. ViNNY is going to be spawning as our purple Terran player down here at the our 8 o'clock position, and up here at the 2 o'clock it is Toxie as our pink Zerg. Nice matchup here between these guys. And we've got a relatively quick scout moving out across the field here. It is an Overlord, so we'll check back on in on him here in the next year or so and see if he has gathered any intel on ViNNY's base, but he's headed in the correct direction. That at least is good for him. That does make him at least a Shen the Overlord instead of Bob the Overlord. If they do go in the incorrect direction, we call them Bob. And it looks like we've got a standard opener here from ViNNY. He does have his barracks going down in pretty good time. We'll check back in and see when he's got his gas going down. Talk's going to open up with what appears to be another hatch first. Maybe. There he goes. Yes, he is going to open hatch first. And the good luck, have fun from Talks, only slightly delayed there, but that is okay. It is never too late to wish your opponent good luck and to have fun in their games. There goes your hatch first from Talks only. Should see it followed up by a spawning pool here in just a few moments. And back here at ViNNY's base, we do have a relatively early gas. It's gone down right around the 2-minute mark. And getting saturated there right away. We'll see if he's going to go for any add-ons on this barracks. Nope, he's just going to go for his Marines at first. And there goes your wall off for ViNNY. Looks like Tox did get a pretty decent scout out on his opponent. Is going to go ahead and evac this forward position for the moment. Back over here, Tox hatchery is about 50% complete. We do have a spawning pool almost 50% complete, and his gas going down there fairly quickly. Nice little opener here from Tox. Units tab going to show that he does have +1 harvesters. Actually, not really if you count the mules. So ViNNY's slightly ahead there economically, not by tons, but that's what we expect in our Terran versus Zerg matchups. These Terran do get a pretty nice little bump to their economy with the orbital commands right off the bat. Boom, boom, boom. That's why we see them take them pretty quick just about every game. Very rarely do you see them not take an orbital on time. But looks like Tox does have this complete. We do have a bunker going down. Are we going to see some attacking on this guy? ViNNY doing some serious work to keep this guy alive for the time being. And into the hidden position he goes, and it looks like it is not hidden enough. Tox going to get some attacking down on this guy. One more. And the cancellation there from ViNNY. Nicely done from Tox. Did not overcommit to defending that. It was really nicely done. And now a couple Lings out on the field. Back over here in the center of the map, we got two Marines kicking it, holding down the Xilnaga tower. I've always wondered how their presence makes this tower, which is usually in pieces, kind of all of a sudden form together and turn into something that gives you extra sight. Don't exactly know how that works, but Tox going to cruise out here and unpower that building for the moment, for the time being, and it's like, oh, back to just Marines. All right, we can power up here. Power up. Interesting little thing. And ViNNY with his command center going down. It is 50% complete, and here comes some Hellions cruising out across the field. Let's see if Tox is going to be prepared for this. Oh, come on. Don't pause. He's been playing. I don't know why his hands are cold. Maybe he doesn't have the heater on in his house. Oh, he does live in the northern hemisphere, and it is winter time, so we shall see. But it looks like we're going to pause here for a couple minutes and let him warm his hands up somehow. What, put him in the toaster? What would you guys do? Put him in the toaster? Put him in under hot water? Yeah, that'll do it. He said he's had his window open. It's -6 degrees Celsius. That is relatively cold. And Tox putting down some spine crawlers here. Looks like here comes your Hellions, though. 2 Hellions, 2 Marines actually cruising out here. And we're about to see another Hellion. We're currently working on Siege Tech, so he's going to transition into tanks here fairly quick. Good control here from Tox. Can keep these guys alive for the time being. Double Queens here. Nice little play. And a good little wall off, actually. He's put down double Evo chambers here between himself and that hatchery. Not too bad. In the meantime, ViNNY has completed his command center, currently working on an orbital command here, and he's got pretty decent little defensive posture, as well as some siege tanks about to be out on the field. Double gas up here in the main, and he is set to go. News tab going to show, whoops, we were already on the news tab, 27 to 25 there, plus the mules of ViNNY. Going to put ViNNY, I think, still ahead at this point, but not by tons. Tox going to be beefing up his economy as he moves forward. So JJ is actually out on the live stream saying that he's sad because he's currently playing Platinum and and is losing, and says that he can't do anything. So we will definitely take a look at that. We'll see if we can't give JJ some serious help. We've got plenty of master level players who would love to give him some advice. So if anybody out there is a master level player and does play, I think JJ plays Protoss. Actually, I can't remember. Tell me what race you play. But we'll see what we can do after this show match is over. We'll give you a little bit of help. We do what we can, and it looks like your Hellions cruising back in here. Not quite going to happen. Nice little defense here from Tox. 2 Queens are way more difficult to deal with than just one. It's crazy. And it's difficult to focus down one, so you notice that he had to waste a couple extra shots on this particular Queen when he really wanted to be trying to focus down this one Queen here. And it's difficult micro, so adding 2 Queens to that defense maneuver there, like Tox was doing, I think is super cost effective. Yeah, so good stuff. JJ does play Protoss, so good stuff there, but we'll give you some serious advice. What's your worst matchup right now? Looks like Tox trying to take another base. That not going to happen. That poor guy just got fried to a crisp, and now he is turned into smoke. Looks like your Hellion's going to try and cruise back up this ramp. Not going to happen. Tox in pretty decent defensive posture here. And the Queen got to stay on the creep. Super important that she does so. Your Hellions look to have gone down there pretty quick. ViNNY in pretty decent shape here with his supply count, though. 78 to 67. Units tab going to show that the economies are fairly even. I mean, ViNNY's going to have a pretty decent economy, considering that he will be able to call down some mules here in just a few moments. But Tox taking the third here is really good for him. He needs this at this point. This is great time for him to be doing so. We do have some Banelings going to be out on the field here in just a moment, and he's going to be gearing up for some serious defensive posture, I would assume, with those Banelings back at that side of the map. In the meantime, ViNNY is going to try and secure a third of his own. He's got a lot of tanks out on the field. And where are we moving for Tox? I'm interested to see if we're going to see some new tech. We do have that infestation pit, but no infestors out on the field quite yet. I would like to see a couple come out. A lot of creep spread going down here for Tox, though. I like that as well. And these guys are going to take the center tower from the Hellions. Nice little surround there, taking down the Hellions. Removing map control is always so critical. And Baneling Bomb's going to go down here for TvZ. He's going to start burrowing these guys all over the map, I hope. No drops coming out of ViNNY. He's just kind of kicking it back here on 2 base. Trying to gear up to take this third, I'm guessing, is all he's really got planned at this moment. But Tox, that's going to give Tox the opportunity to start to catch up here, especially now that he's got his 3rd base up and running. So nicely done. Probably going to see a drone transfer out to that position here in just a few moments, but we've got 4 infestors in production right now. I love this tech switch from Tox. We'll see if he's going to be able to spring this on his opponent quickly enough. 1 Zergling cruising up to the high ground. And ViNNY going to toss down a missile turret and is just going to go ahead and scan here just in case. And he's going to start leapfrogging these missile turrets forward, getting himself prepared for any kind of burrow play, and that's really smart against TvZ. He's super capable of getting that done. But you'll notice that he doesn't really overcommit. He just puts 2 here and there. 2 is a really good number of Banelings. They can pick up quite a few kills of just Marines pretty quickly, especially if you get it centered there. But 2 of them do take out Marines there pretty quick, and that's exactly what you want. Notice that ViNNY going to be taking some missile turrets here and there, going to keep his bases free of any of those type of units. Do have a changeling here, as well as a burrowed Zergling. ViNNY selecting this guy, trying to get him to move, not quite going to happen. And the orbital command still not going to be able to land. There he goes. Is going to be able to get that done there. And it looks like the army here for Tox in a forward position, but he's going to back out pretty quick here. He didn't like what he saw, and he sees that, oh, looks like ViNNY not going to move forward. He looked like he was feigning to move forward there, but not doing it quite yet. He's going to give it just a moment while he gets this 3rd up and running. Checking in on that units tab, 70 drones right now for Tox to the 58 SCVs of ViNNY. I would like to actually see Tox go for a Nidoswarm in this position right here. ViNNY really hasn't got this well protected. He could do a lot of damage in his opponent's main with Zerglings. But in the meantime, Tox is gearing up for a very large force. He does have a Roach Warren on the way, as well as his Greater Spire already. Pretty quick. Blue Flame Hellions going down. Taking out a lot of Zerglings. And your tank's geared up in pretty nice fashion. We've got some Thors out on the field. This is a pretty beefy little army here. Fairly heavy mech, but he's got really strong Marine support. You see how many Marines he's got there. Nearly a full page. Tox trying to put down static defense. Not quite going to happen. I would like to see him go for a Nidus play here and try and back his opponent out. Tox backing out with his Spine Crawler, setting himself up defensively for the time being. I think this is probably the right move. He is going to grab a couple of Roaches out on the field here. Good stuff. So we'll see if Tox is going to be able to hold on. He does have a pretty substantial force. But ViNNY with so many tanks, I think it's just going to be difficult to deal with. Looks like he's going to go for the kill at these rocks. Take these down there pretty quick. Now I want to mention real quick that JJ actually do have a new build that's worth trying out against Terran. So we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. It is a Protoss vs. Terran match. And you can see ViNNY pushing forward with his siege tanks. This is what's so difficult to deal with. And here we go. Tox cruising forward. He is going to start taking down these destructible debris. But to what end is my question. I mean, this defensive posture here for ViNNY is going to be very difficult to deal with. In the meantime, here comes everything that Tox has got. Cruising forward here with a good bunch of Roaches and Lings. Roach is getting a pretty nice little surround on these units. Taking down the Thors there pretty quick. Tank's not going to last much longer either, and looks like Tox does clean up this army in pretty good style. Fourth base going down here for ViNNY is going to take this forward position. I assume we're going to see an orbital command, or not orbital command, but a planetary fortress out of him here. Here comes your Lings and Roaches, going to take down these Blue Flame Hellions. Tanks getting sieged up just in time to get off a nice couple shots there on TvZ army. Tox going to have to be careful, but I like that Tox is expanding here at will. He's taking 2 bases at once. I think a smart move. See if one of them sticks. It's kind of, well, I mean, I guess I disagree in some respects, but in some regards I think it's a smart move. But I do dislike the fact that this is kind of a guessing game. Well, let's see if one of these expansions will stick. It's better to try and pick one that you know you can defend, I guess, is always the best choice. But at this point, he has to take a base, and he has to know that ViNNY can push it just about any time. This is such a large force, so taking 2 here I think is the right move in this particular scenario. And that is my explanation of that whole deal. Looks like we do have a planetary fortress complete here. And are we going to see some fungals? Burrow being utilized here, going to evacuate these infestors as quickly as possible. But ViNNY with a nice unit mixture here. He's got tanks out on the field, Vikings, Ravens, he's got Banshees. He's going pretty heavy tech though, a mech. ViNNY cruising through here with the Hellion, not quite going to happen. Looks like Tox going to be in okay shape, but ViNNY about to be maxed out here. And this is what we saw in that last game where Tox was doing okay for a while, and then it just got to the point where ViNNY had too much units to deal with. And so I would like to see Tox go for either some Broods here. Actually, Broods is about the only thing he can do at this point. It's about the only thing he can do versus this mech army. And he's not really going to be able to get this done with Zerglings and Roaches, I don't think, at this point. Those tanks do so much damage to these units. So Tox is going to have to consider getting out some Broodlords. He does have 1 on the way. 1 is not going to be nearly enough. He's got to have a lot of support behind those Broods. 3 now on the way, but he needs a lot of those anti-air units as well. So he's got a decent amount of Corruptors. But here comes his Broodlords. Here comes his Infestors. We'll see if he's going to be able to make this happen. He is going to have to sack this base. And then he's going to get himself into position here. Taking down that hatchery there pretty quick. And here comes the entire force of Tox. And look at this. He is going for the kill here. Going to get a flank on this army. Taking out all of your Thors. While your Infestors getting themselves into position. Your Broodlord's not doing anything here quite yet. But the Thor's gone down pretty quick. And Tox cruising up here going to try and take out as much of the economy of his opponent as possible. Now, this is not a bad play. Tox did get himself supply blocked here. But he is going to also lose a lot of Infestors because of this. Got to be careful, being smart to go ahead and back these guys out here. But look how much damage he's doing. These Roaches in great position here to kill off orbital commands, or at least stall mining. This one not going to last much longer. It does go down. And so, wow, ViNNY losing almost 2 mining bases. This one did get repaired, but no mining being done here at all. Your Roaches cruising up here, taking out as many units as possible before they will go down. In the meantime, you've got more Roaches cruising in here. And are we going to see those Broods ever make their way into position? I guess not. Looks like they're just congregating back here for the time being. What an interesting play, but 5 more are in production. So he's going to have a pretty large Broodlord army at this point. And ViNNY has got a pretty solid amount of anti-air. Look at all the Vikings he's got out on the field. So these Broods are going to need a heck of a lot of support from their Corruptor friends. Need to see some more Corruptors in production. He's got 1 more right now. He's making another Spire, so he's going to be going for some serious upgrades on air here, it appears. While ViNNY choosing to cruise out across the field. Not a good time here for TvZ. He is going to get his Broodlords into position. But look how much damage he's going to take here. This will be absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Vikings almost... Actually, they are. They're one-shotting these Broodlords at this point. Crazy train. The Broods getting themselves into position, and Tox way behind now in the supply count. That was a very large loss for him. ViNNY way ahead. He's going to be moving forward with his tanks, and at this point Tox doesn't really have an answer to this. And ViNNY giving the... I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure what he's sorry for, but he did a phenomenal play there. Tox did make a mistake. You've got to keep those Broodlords safe against this Terran army. And at this point, ViNNY has pretty well got this in the bag. And there's your GG. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't alt tab, always alt Starcraft. To see you guys in our next game.